The MicroRPM respiratory pressure meter is a handheld ultra-portable device, enabling it to be used in pulmonary function laboratories, physicians' offices, or for bedside testing and outpatient clinics. MicroRPM allows inspiratory and expiratory mouth pressures, MIP and MEP, and sniff nasal pressures, SNIP, to be measured, depending on the test required. Results are instantly and clearly displayed on the integrated display panel. The RPM can be connected to Micromedical Puma pulmonary muscle analysis software, which enables real-time testing, graphs of maneuvers to be displayed on the PC screen, predicted values, trending, reporting and data sharing with your electronic health record, or EHR. Thank you for taking the time to watch this CareFusion Respiratory Diagnostics instruction video for the Micromedical Respiratory Pressure Meter. This presentation will demonstrate the initial instrument setup as well as the preparations required before performing real measurements. As with most pulmonary function measurements, coaching a patient through the testing maneuver the correct way is very important, since it is one of the main influencing factors for good quality data outcomes. Respiratory pressure measurements are effort-dependent tests. Hence, in this e-training module, we'll be showing you how to correctly instruct the person performing the breathing maneuvers. Please choose a topic or press the arrow key to continue in the prescribed order. The MicroRPM respiratory pressure monitor is supplied in a white cardboard box. The box also contains a multi-language manual. The MicroRPM and all necessary accessories are supplied in a hard-shell carrying case. Inside the case you'll find the respiratory pressure monitor, 9V PP3 battery, inspiratory and expiratory mouth pressure adapters, SNP nasal probe adapter, nasal probes in the sizes extra small, small, medium and large, as well as mouth pressure pulmonary bacterial viral filters. The MicroRPM is a battery-operated handheld respiratory pressure meter. Prior to use, slide open the battery cover and connect the 9V battery supplied in the carrying case to the battery connector housed in the battery compartment. Place the battery in the battery compartment and replace the battery cover by sliding it back into the molding. The pulmonary filters are for single patient use only and should be disposed of once testing is complete. The nasal olives, nasal probe adapter and flanged mouthpiece are also for single patient use and should be cleaned using a detergent and then cold sterilized. CareFusion recommend the use of Perisafe or Descogen. And note here that the nasal probes can't be autoclaved. The MicroRPM device is made ready to perform an MIP or MEP maneuver by firstly fitting the pressure assembly to the unit. For a PI max maneuver, fit the pressure assembly marked inspiratory. For a PE max maneuver, fit the pressure assembly marked expiratory. Next, fit a bacterial viral filter to the assembly. This will provide protection for the patient and reduce cross-contamination. Please note here that filters are for single patient use and should be disposed of after use. The filter is tapered and thus only requires gentle pressure to attain a tight fit. There'll be a visible gap between the pressure assembly and the filter, which is normal. Make sure not to apply strong pressure when fitting it onto the assembly, as this will make it difficult to remove the filter later. Fit the flanged mouthpiece onto the filter. This will prevent leakages and form a good seal in the mouth when performing the maneuver. Once the correct assembly is in place, slide the switch on the front of the unit to the MIP-MEP position. The unit will automatically zero after approximately 4 seconds, and the screen will display the digit 0. While the unit is zeroing, it's important not to apply any pressure to any part of the mouthpiece or filter assembly. The unit is now reading to measure PI max or PE max measurements. The patient should be seated comfortably prior to performing a test. PI max maneuvers are performed at residual volume. The patient should exhale until her or his lungs feel empty, and then inspire as hard and as fast as possible until they can inspire no further. The results are displayed on the screen in centimeters of water. Once the maneuver has been performed, the patient should be given a moment to rest until they feel ready to repeat the maneuver. The test requires full patient cooperation, so it's important you clearly and fully explain the procedure so that the patient knows how to perform the maneuver and apply the maximal effort needed for both mouth and nasal pressure measurements.
Then pull hard. In, more, and relax.
3 tests should be performed with the highest value from the 3 tests taken as the achieved result. PE max maneuvers are performed at total lung capacity. That's with the lungs as full of air as possible. The patient should inhale until the lungs feel fully inflated, place the mouthpiece in her or his mouth. It should feel comfortable, with the patient's lips pressed firmly around the mouthpiece to ensure a tight seal. And then expire as hard and as fast as possible until they can expire no further.
Relax.
The results are displayed on the screen in centimeters of water, and once the maneuver has been performed, the patient should be given a moment to rest until they feel ready to repeat the maneuver.
Slow. Good.
3 tests should be performed with the highest value from the 3 tests taken as the achieved value. With the unit turned off, connect the nasal probe adapter to the MicroRPM. The nasal probes used for performing a SNIP maneuver are supplied in 4 sizes: extra small, small, medium and large. Select the appropriate size to ensure a tight fit in the patient's nostril. Attach the chosen nasal probe to the probe adapter using the lure fitting and twisting it as you attach it to the adapter. Slide the switch on the MicroRPM to the SNIP position, and the unit will then automatically zero after approximately 4 seconds, and the screen will display the digit 0. Whilst the unit is zeroing, it's important that no pressure is applied to any part of the nasal probe assembly. Sniff nasal inspiratory pressure measurements are performed at the end of a normal tidal breathing maneuver. The patient should place the nasal probe into her or his nostril so it fits tightly and won't fall out during the maneuver. The patient should be instructed to perform a short, sharp sniff through the nostril. The other nostril should remain open and shouldn't be occluded. The results will be displayed in centimeters of water on the display. Between tests, the nasal probe should be removed from the patient's nostril, the unit turned off, after which the slide switch should be pushed back to the SNIP position to enable the unit to auto-zero. Once the unit has auto-zeroed, the nasal probe should be placed back into the patient's nostril and the maneuver repeated. Ideally, 10 measurements should be performed, with the highest taken as the value achieved. Respiratory pressure measurement tests can be performed using the MicroRPM when connected to the Puma software. Push the plug into the socket on the side of the MicroRPM and insert the RS-232 connector into a free serial port on the PC. Puma is an optional 32-bit software package, compatible with all the latest Windows operating systems, for displaying the pressure waveforms developed during testing with a MicroRPM. It also enables measurements of the maximal rate of pressure development, or MRPD, and maximal rate of relaxation, MRR, to be made. Puma has a user-friendly, modern, multi-window visual interface which can display and store waveforms and results from both mouth and nasal pressure measurements. Patient databases are easily created. It incorporates a powerful search facility, and also enables the long-term trending of results. An animated incentive device encourages children to fully partake, and test quality assurance measures help to ensure the correct test technique is used. Different sets of predicted values may be selected. The printout format is also selectable, and previous pressure curves can be overlaid. Selecting Setup and Options will allow the user to choose the height and weight units to be used when entering patient's details. There's also the option to select the pressure units either in centimeters of water, millimeters of mercury, or kilopascals. This window also includes a report customization option that allows the user to enter the hospital or clinic name and address they'd like to appear on the report. Selecting the incentive option will allow the user to determine the incentive target for each patient based on the first blow and subsequent blows in percentage of predicted value or percentage of best blow obtained by the patient. When the Puma software is initially opened, multiple windows will be displayed. These may be closed and resized according to your own personal display preference. Clicking on the toolbar at the top of the option windows will enable the multiple windows to be cascaded or tiled according to preference, or to be redisplayed if previously closed. Open the Puma software, and from the toolbar headings select Database and New. This will allow you to create a database of patients. You can create as many databases as you wish, each with a unique name, where numerous patients' details can be entered. Note here that you can, or in fact should, create a single named database and not one for each patient. An unlimited number of patients can then be entered and saved in one individual database. To add a patient to the database, click on Data from the toolbar, and then from the drop-down menu, select Add Patient. The patient's ID and demographic details can be entered prior to performing a test. The patient details entered will be retained in the database and also used to calculate the percent predicted the patient achieves compared to the predicted value set chosen. Alternatively, choosing Edit Patient will allow you to amend the details of a patient already entered into the database. Prior to a patient performing a test, select the predicted set that you'd like to use. Select New Exam. Select the type of test you'd like the patient to perform, either MIP, MEP, or SNP, or SNIP, and then prepare the patient for the test, as described earlier. While the test is being performed, you'll see the mouth or nasal pressure graphs being drawn. Results are saved in the Puma database, but may also be exported to CSV, XML, or as a Word document, using the Data Export option. The results may then be included in the patient's electronic health record. What is displayed on the report will be dependent on what was chosen when customizing in the Setup Report option. Either a basic, detailed, or trend report may be chosen. Thank you for watching this presentation. We recommend that you use only CareFusion accessories for the micromedical respiratory pressure meter. For advice on accessories or any technical support questions, please contact our dedicated support team or visit our website.